Good morning. It's Thursday, January 29th. Here's what we're working on this morning. Advocates in Niagara are calling on the region to make changes to its winter weather emergency procedure.
The Bank of Canada held its key interest rate steady as CUSMA talks loom.
Out there moving and grooving. Ball is not stopping.
Bridges slicing inside, and another layup for Mikal Bridges. He keeps attacking the cup.
And the Raptors just can't buy a win against the Knicks. Thanks for waking up with us on a Thursday morning. Simone in for Annette for a little while.
Yes, she's off for a couple weeks, and we wish her well on her trip.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I will be here in studio where I'm very happy it's warm.
And we know that Groundhog Day is coming up soon, Brian.
Yeah.
It has felt like Groundhog Day over and over again with this weather.
Yeah, there hasn't been any change, has there? It's the same old, same old, same old. It just continues. Yeah, it's another cold start to the day, and another day where we're going to be well below seasonal for a daytime high. You think seasonal this time of year for a daytime high is -2? We haven't been there in ages. We're going to hit -11 today. That's where we were yesterday and the day before, so bitterly cold. But today, the wind chill is going to be even colder. Today's wind chill is going to hit -20 as the afternoon progresses. So we'll see some sun, so it'll be fairly bright. We could get some flurries on and off like we're getting right now. But the temperature, at least this morning, is a couple of degrees better than it was yesterday morning. We're -15 right now. We were -17 yesterday morning. But we do have wind chill values into the mid-20s around the horseshoe. I'm just rubbing my hands here again, trying to get warmed up. So, yeah, bitterly cold once again and dangerously cold tonight. Tonight's going to be even colder, and I'll tell you about that coming up. Traffic, quick check, nothing going on. It's pretty good. 403 Waterdown Road area. That's our exclusive camera, nothing right there. MTO traffic cameras, just give you a quick little overview. Red Hill Creek camera, Toronto bound away from us toward the Skyway, looks good. Top of the Skyway, we're seeing some brake lights there a little while ago, but now it's moving fairly nicely, and nothing east of 4th as you head through Oakville. So we will, of course, update weather and traffic details coming up in a few minutes, as usual, throughout the morning. Right now, let's check the news.
All right, thank you, Brian. We are following developing news this morning. We are looking at some water main breaks in the region throughout the Hamilton area, Main and Macklin, one on Upper Wentworth as well. Our Emily Huang is going to the scene, and we'll have a live report on how city crews are dealing with these situations, and we'll bring you that developing news as they happen. Meantime, advocates in Niagara calling for the region to make changes to its winter weather emergency procedure for unhoused residents. Now, currently, the region's winter weather emergency procedure is activated when the temperature drops below -15 degrees Celsius, but a local advocacy group and a regional councillor are calling for that threshold to be increased to 0 degrees. Later on today, the same group is holding a vigil marking the one-year anniversary of the death of Bob Allen, a 52-year-old unhoused man who passed away due to frigid temperatures last year after he was unable to find shelter at -8 degrees Celsius. That's happening at Niagara Region headquarters at 5:45 this evening.
A stretch of downtown Thorold will be temporarily closed today as city crews work to remove the snow. Now, Front Street South from Claremont Street to Albert Street will be closed starting at 7:30 a.m. this morning to allow city plows to clear snow from the roads, stairwells, and sidewalks. The closure will be in place until that work is finished. Then tomorrow, the city will close a stretch of Front Street North from Albert Street to Regent Street, again at 7:30 a.m. until completion. Residents can subscribe to emergency notices from the city and follow social media for further updates.
Halton police continue to investigate a smash-and-grab robbery at a jewelry store in Burlington. It happened Sunday at the Michael Hill store in the Mapleview Center. Police say 4 suspects used hammers to break into the display cases. They then grabbed some jewelry and fled to a waiting vehicle. Police have released this image of a newer model Honda Civic driven by a 5th suspect. 4 male suspects inside the jewelry store were all wearing dark-colored clothing and face coverings. Anyone with information is being asked to contact police.
For 2 years, negotiations between Hamilton's paramedic service and the city have gone nowhere. Now, yesterday, both parties sat down for conciliation with a third party, but members of the union say all they want is a fair deal. In 2023, the starting wage for a paramedic in Hamilton was $40.88. At that time, paramedics in Peel, Kitchener, Waterloo, and Toronto had similar wages, but they have since renegotiated their contracts with higher wages.
Don't make nearly what we should make, and the parity is so far between us, police and fire. It doesn't make us feel very good when we know that our neighbors next door to us are making significant gains when it comes to pays and respect that they get from their city.
The president of Hamilton's paramedic union says he predicts negotiations with the city will drag on until the end of 2026.
Ontario's education minister has placed the Peel District School Board under supervision. Paul Calandra has also given York Catholic District School Board 2 weeks to make the case for avoiding the same fate. Peel, the second largest school board in Ontario, was placed under supervision to prevent 60 teachers from being laid off. The Peel Board now has 2 weeks to respond to Calandra's concerns, and after that point, he will make a decision on whether to end the supervision. The York Catholic District School Board has been put on notice over financial concerns. There are now 7 school boards under provincial supervision.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says, quote, relations are good with the U.S. despite recent tariff threats from President Donald Trump. But the U.S. Treasury Secretary is once again threatening Canada on American television. Scott Bessent issued a warning to Mark Carney, threatening consequences over the Prime Minister's speech at the World Economic Forum, where he pushed back against American global dominance and economic coercion. The White House has been threatening changes to the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement, which is up for review beginning in July. Political strategist Charles Bird says the threat must be taken seriously.
I think we are seeing some degree of posturing from senior officials in the U.S. administration. The very real prospect of the November midterms and what that could mean in terms of a reordering of the political landscape is looming very large in President Trump's mind.
Bessent's warning comes just days after he claimed the Prime Minister rolled back the substance of his World Economic Forum speech in a phone call with Trump. Carney says that isn't true, and he stands by what he said in Davos.
President Trump is threatening Iran with a new military strike if it refuses to negotiate a new deal on its nuclear capabilities. In a Truth Social post yesterday, Trump warned the next strike would be, quote, far worse than the one it carried out last summer. That's when the U.S. military attacked 3 of Iran's nuclear sites. Trump also reiterated his warning from last week that an armada is heading toward Iran and, quote, time is running out. But sources say Trump is still considering his options.
There's plenty of research that shows the harms of consuming alcohol. But in a first-of-its-kind study here in Canada, the Centre for Addiction and Mental Health says it's the most harmful substance for Canadians. The new study from CAMH had experts across the country rank different types of drugs based on how harmful they are in different categories. That includes the harm they cause to others around those using, the economic impacts, and how easy the drugs are to access. The researchers gave alcohol a top score of 79 out of 100. Ranking first on 9 of the 16 categories. That was followed by tobacco at a distant second, ranking 45 out of 100, and that's followed by non-prescription opioids, cocaine, methamphetamine, and cannabis with a score of just 15.
There are definitely some drugs that punch above their weight, so to speak, in terms of harm scores being like drugs that are used by many less people. I'm thinking of cocaine and methamphetamine, for example.
The federal government's most recent guidance suggests 2 or fewer standard drinks per week. Opposition MPs are calling on the federal government to find a solution to Facebook and Instagram's ban on news. The platform's owners removed news content in response to the 2023 Online News Act, which requires compensation to news publishers for use of their content. New Democrats say both Google and Meta earn a large majority of digital advertising revenue in Canada. The Bloc Québécois add that the absence of credible information on Meta platforms has made for an avalanche of disinformation. A government spokesperson says Ottawa is in ongoing talks with Meta and remains open to a deal that would return news to Meta's platforms.
All right, Sportsline. Some teams just have another team's number, and that is the case when it comes to the Knicks owning the Raptors.
Out there moving and grooving. Ball is not stopping.
Bridges slicing inside, and another layup for Mikal Bridges. He keeps attacking the cup.
For the 11th consecutive time, the Knickerbockers got the better of the Raps, bouncing Toronto 119-92 last night. Mikal Bridges scored 30 points, 19 of them in the third quarter, and Karl Anthony Towns grabbed a season-high 22 rebounds as New York won their 4th game in a row overall. Brandon Ingram scored 27 points for the Raptors, who saw their 4-game winning streak come to an end. Well, it didn't take long for former Ticats receiver Tim White to find a new place to play. Days after he was released by Hamilton, White has signed a 1-year contract with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The 31-year-old all-CFL receiver spent 5 seasons with the Cats, and last year joined Hall of Famer Darren Flutie as the only players in team history to record 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons. In 83 career games, White made 383 catches for nearly 5,500 yards and 33 touchdowns. White and the Bombers, by the way, will visit Hamilton July 5th. Marie-Philippe Poulin scored her team-leading 7th goal of the PWHL season as the Montreal Victoire blanked the Toronto Scepters 3-0. Anne-Renee Debienne made 22 saves to earn her 3rd shutout of the year, tied for top spot in the league, and it just so happened to be Anne-Renee Debienne bobblehead night. Elsewhere, Ottawa doubled Seattle 4-2, Minnesota topped Vancouver 4-1, and Boston clipped New York 4-3 in a shootout. Wait for it! Anne-Marie Debienne, there she is, bobbling her head.
Here comes Giroux with Stützle going to the net. Giroux scores! What a shot for Giroux! 3-1 Ottawa.
Ottawa was the only Canadian NHL team in action last night. They took down the league-leading Avalanche. Claude Giroux scoring the eventual game winner early in the third period as the Sens beat Colorado 5-2. James Reimer had to make just 16 saves in the win as Ottawa snapped a 7-game slide against the Avs. There's just one playoff spot open at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts in Mississauga. Canada's Carrie Anerson, Manitoba's Beth Peterson, Nova Scotia's Christina Black, and Alberta's Selena Sturmey all earned wins at Paramount Fide Food Centre yesterday and joined Manitoba's Caitlin Laws in the knockout round. Ontario's Haley Armstrong and Taylor Stevens of Nova Scotia are going to meet today. The winner will take the final playoff position. The eventual champion will represent Canada at the Women's World Curling Championships in March in Calgary. Canada's 2026 Winter Olympic flag bearers have been revealed. Olympic champions Marielle Thompson from Whistler, BC, and Mikhail Kingsbury from De Montagne, Quebec, will carry the maple leaf during next Friday's opening ceremony in Italy. The Milan Cortina Games will be the 4th Olympics for both athletes. Thompson won gold in women's ski cross in 2014 in Sochi and added a silver in Beijing in 2022. Kingsbury won silver in freestyle skiing in 2014, gold in Pyeongchang 4 years later, and another silver medal in Beijing in 2022. The Toronto Rock have unveiled their Indigenous Heritage Night jerseys for this Saturday's home game at Hamilton's TD Coliseum against Ottawa. The game-worn jerseys are going to be up for auction until next Tuesday at 8 p.m. You can bid now at torontorock.com/auction, and proceeds go to the Downey Wenjack Fund. You can get tickets to the game, which includes a night full of celebrating the Indigenous roots of lacrosse, at torontorock.com.
Good morning, 13 minutes after 6 o'clock. Those of us who are old radio guys know what we mean when we say we have to warm up our pipes. No, I'm not talking about those kind of pipes in here. I'm talking about the water main pipes. We have so many water mains breaking in Hamilton right now. Cold pipes, the ground shifts, and everything. We've got Main and Macklin. We've got Upper James at Husser. We've got southbound Upper James at Resolute, westbound Stone Church at Ridgemont, and eastbound Stone Church at Diston. They're all water main breaks with lots of water, so be careful there. All right, so that's the 403 and Waterdown Road. There's nothing to see right there. It looks fine on the majors, actually, so far this morning. So that's our exclusive camera. What I'm seeing here is some light snow coming down through St. Catharines. That's the Garden City Skyway West camera. There's nothing on the roads. Red Hill Creek still doing fine. We'll flip ahead to east of Brent, east of Royal Windsor, all the way through Etobicoke Creek. No, nothing on the roads right now. Take it carefully, please. All right, let's talk about temperature that we have this morning. At least we are a couple of degrees better than we were yesterday morning. Minus 15 is our temperature right now. The winds southwest at 14 make it feel like minus 22. So again, bitterly cold, dangerously cold this morning. We're getting some light flurry activity. For school today, we're going to see some sun. It'll be a mix of sun and clouds. Then we could get some flurries later on. But once again today, like yesterday, high of minus 11. Wind chill values, though, will be stronger for the day today. Low pressure system weakening, trough of low pressure going across us. So once again, we're going to get some lake effect snow into all the usual areas coming off of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay, but we are also going to get some sunshine for the next number of days. Look at these temperatures today, minus 10, minus 11, minus 12. So minus 11 will feel, like about minus 20 for the day today. So it's going to be cold. Be careful of that wind. Tonight, look at these temperatures. Minus 23 for Niagara Falls, Simcoe, Cayuga. Minus 26 for Brantford, minus 20 to 25 degrees as you head around the Horseshoe. That's not a typo. That's minus 29. That's just the temperature, not even the winds into Guelph overnight. That shows you how cold the air mass is. So tomorrow, be about the same, minus 10, 11, 12, and 13 degrees. So it's going to be another cold day tomorrow, but we're going to have a fair bit of sunshine. So at least it'll be bright to look out the window where it's nice and warm. So light snow, light winds of what we have right now, minus 15, but a wind chill of minus 22. And we'll check long range coming up in a few minutes for you. Simone, Rick.
All right, thank you, Brian. Coming up after the break, we're going to say good morning to Emily. She'll have a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat this morning. And in business news, Ontario and New Brunswick are doing brisk business. We'll take a closer look after the break. Stay with us. Let's say good morning to Emily. What do you have coming up in Chit Chat? And by the way, welcome back.
Hi, thank you so much. Well, get ready if you are a fan. I have Ted Lasso Season 4 sneak peek.
Wow.
Okay. Come on, this is a big deal.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe that it's already come out to the 4th season.
I know.
Well, it's not the same, right? It's not the boys. It's now pivoted to girls.
Right.
Oh.
Looking forward to it.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Simone, you don't know.
I didn't. Truthfully, I think I fell off after the 1st season, but we can talk about that.
Yeah. We're
Here I
going to
am
discuss
shocked
that
that
as well.
4th season.
Okay. And one of the most talked about series, Heated Rivalry, we have a look at when they're releasing the gear. Apparently there's a very popular zip-up jacket that everybody wants.
That's big news.
Yes.
See, so you know this.
Oh, this one I know. This is breaking news, actually, in the group chat. Yeah.
And a new Bruce Springsteen song, Streets of Minneapolis. We will discuss our celebrities responsible for getting into politics. All of that on the couch.
Very interesting. Thanks, Emily.
Sam.
To business news we go. In overseas trading this morning, the Canadian dollar is up slightly. It is at 73.91 cents U.S. Gold continues to soar. It gained another $206 to rise over $5,500 an ounce. Oil is also up $1.60 to $64.86 U.S. a barrel. In midday European trading, London and Paris are up this hour. Frankfurt is down more than 200 points.
Asian markets finished in the positive today, with Japan's Nikkei closing up 17 points. And yesterday's close, the North American markets were all up, with the TSX gaining 80 points, while the Dow and Nasdaq also inched up.
Ontario has more than doubled exports through New Brunswick's Port of St. John. Ontario Premier Doug Ford and New Brunswick Premier Susan Holt met with shipping industry representatives to mark the milestone. In 2025, the total volume of goods exported by Ontario companies through the Port of St. John to international markets increased by 153% compared to the previous year.
Canadian Pacific Kansas City has suffered a $200 million blow from the ongoing U.S. tariff war. But the railway is sounding an upbeat note despite ongoing doubts about North America's Free Trade Pact. The only railroad to span all 3 countries on the continent nudged up revenue by 1%, partly on the back of improved operating efficiency and a slight boost in freight volumes. A bumper crop helped drive grain revenues to record highs, but rain at the Port of Vancouver curtailed that increase.
The Canadian Food Inspection Agency is reportedly set to slash hundreds of jobs. The Agriculture Union represents agency employees and says staff have been told 1,371 jobs will be cut as part of the federal government's cost-cutting exercise. It says the cuts are a massive blow that cannot be absorbed by an agency that's already struggling. The latest cuts would be among more than 1/5 of the CFIA's workforce. All right, quick timeout. Brian is going to return with your traffic update and your ever so cold 7-day weather forecast. Stay with us.
Good morning, 6:24 on the 29th morning of January. One collision to talk about in the Horseshoe. This is the 403 as you're heading toward the 401. So this is right around Eastgate Parkway, Cawthra. It's the HOV lane and the left shoulder that are blocked through here with a couple of vehicles in collision as you make it around the bend and head off toward the 401. That's the only collision that we have. We do have a disabled vehicle and it looks like it just cleared. Okay, good news there. It just cleared. So as they say, never mind. Here's the Garden City Skyway. Still getting some light flurry activity into St. Catharines and around the Horseshoe generally, but there's no problems on the roads. That camera was just there. There's Guelph Line. We'll flip ahead to Sheraton, and as I mentioned, that problem on the 403 at Eastgate Parkway. Volume is fairly light, but it is slowing down just a little bit. Temperature right now, temperature this morning, -15, wind chill of -22. Yeah, so it slaps you in the face once again this morning as you step outside. -13 Mississauga, -12 Grimsby, -11 into Toronto. We haven't been near seasonal temperatures for daytime or nighttime for a while. -2 is the daytime seasonal, -10 is the overnight seasonal, and those are our records and sun times for the day today. Gain another couple of minutes of sun for today, and we will see some sun for today. We should be -11. Which actually is the forecast high for the day today. By the time the first bell goes, which should be some sunshine, and then a bit of cloud cover with some flurries for after school. So there's the high, -11. But you factor in the winds, it's going to feel like -20 throughout the day today. So hence the cold weather alert stays in effect. -20 tonight. Wind chill values into the mid-20s. So bitterly cold tonight, dangerously cold. Tomorrow pretty much the same, bit better wind chill of -16. Then we start to moderate a bit. Saturday some flurries, but sun of -9. -6 on Sunday. Groundhog Day, -4. At least that'll feel a little bit better. It'll be sunny. And then -4 for Tuesday, -5 Wednesday. That's your forecast. Simone, Rick.
Thank you, Brian. Michigan State Police found a runaway miniature donkey on the lam in the snow.
The donkey, named Dolly, escaped from her pasture Tuesday night through an open gate. Officers spotted her a couple of kilometers from her home, just strolling down a road. Her owners came and picked her up. Now, state police say this isn't the first time troopers in the area outside of Detroit have been called. They also had to help corral cows along the I-75 highway in the past.
What is happening in Michigan?
I mean, to be fair, they left the gate open, so
this is true.
she looks so unfazed. She's
okay,
like, what do you mean?
Let's go back home.
Oh, so cute. Oh, there's the officers standing by.
Now, there you go. That's a great reunion.
She's
Stay
like,
with us. More to come after the break here on Morning Live. Good morning.
Run away. Right now, let's just run away.